Today, we start part D of Module 2, JSP Elements and Properties. Part D.1 JSP versus Servlets. All right. So after we learned JSP technology, we want to compare JSP and Servlets. We want to look at their advantages, disadvantages. Yeah. So for our first video today, so very short, yeah. So we look at the main, advantages, disadvantages. Yeah. First, let's look why JSP are so popular. Yeah. Many Java developers, Java web developers, they like JSP technology a lot, especially for beginners. Beginners tend to use JSP as much as they can. Yeah. Some developers even use JSP completely for their whole web application. That's possible, yeah, because when I talk about the introduction of the JSP, I mention PHP, right? Yeah. So the way that JSP works, very similar to the way of that PHP. Yeah. So you can see, because PHP, we can do a lot of things, right? So we can, develop many powerful web applications. Why we cannot use JSP to do the same thing? Yeah. Completely possible. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. But here we want to compare JSP, servlets, advantages, disadvantages. Yeah. There is a lot of, there are many differences between these two closely related technologies. Yeah. The reason, easier to use. This is the most important reason. Yeah. So especially for beginners. Yeah, beginners, so they can jump to Java web programming immediately after they learn the basics of JSP. Yeah. The most important thing, no configuration needed. Because for Java EE technology, okay, yeah, the hardest part, actually the configuration part, especially at the early stage of Java EE. The configuration was extremely complicated. But recently, Java EE technology evolves many versions. Okay. So for the current version, configuration problem is reduced more and more. And designers make it easier and easier, yeah, especially with the annotation type configuration. Okay? It is greatly simplified. Yeah. So that make the Java EE web development a lot easier than before. Yeah. All right. Simpler structure and easier decision making. Yeah. Because when you design your web application, you do not feel it is very difficult, because you can control. Okay. You do not need to know many advanced technologies, for that kind of simplicity. Yeah. So that's the reason, developers without a lot of experience, they like this technology a lot. But here I want to say, when you get more and more experience, you should move up. You should not satisfy with just the JSP, low level. That's the lowest level. So Java developers, you should get to higher and higher levels. The reason you use the Java technology, you want to eventually move to the enterprise Java development. Enterprise, Java EE. So that the first E is enterprise. Okay. So what's the meaning of Java EE? This first E is the enterprise development. Okay. Second edition. Okay. So you need to prepare yourself to get to the enterprise web development. So that's the advanced level. You need to learn a lot more advanced, higher level, sophisticated technologies. All right. Relatively easier request dispatching. Here a little bit, technical. So what's the request dispatching? When the clients send requests to your web application. Okay? So you may like to assign one special file to do the request dispatching. Send in your data processing, after some situation happens, you want to send this request to another file, data processing file. So under different business situations, you need to send the request to different data processing files. So that's the request dispatching. Next, in the module 3, because this will be our last part of module 2. So after today's class, we will start module 3. So in module 3, we will go deeper in the servlet JSP technologies. So we will cover the details of the request dispatching in both servlets and JSP. All right, so here it says relatively easier request dispatching. We will see that. A lot of discussion later. So here we do not need to spend too much time here. Theoretically, the dynamic content can be handled by JSP. All dynamic. Here I want to emphasize all dynamic theoretically. Just like what I mentioned at PHP. You can do everything in JSP if you like. But it may not be good. Okay? The way, if you're doing that way, although you can implement all your business rules, but it is not a good way to do it. So we will see why it is not a good way. All right. Not good anymore for more complex, usually for more complex projects, in the sense that here I give you 2 reasons. Not that good, not good. That way, all JSP way, not a good way. 2 reasons here. Maintain 2 environments, HTML and Java. In JSP, you need to maintain 2 different environments, right? One HTML environment for static content, right? So your content is in static. Okay? Then the Java for the dynamic part, right? You need to maintain both environments. that, so yeah, you need to jump here and there, different environments, you know. There is some cost doing that. There is some cost. Okay, yeah, yeah. So you need to take that cost. Yeah. All right. That's the first drawback. Okay, yeah. Second drawback, too much Java code in JSP make them hard to maintain. JSP, if you have long Java code, theoretically you can do that. If you have long Java code, usually the Java code you use to do data processing, you may have very complicated data processing, right? When you do very complicated data processing, you need to write long Java code. Yeah. In that way, you maintaining your JSP more and more difficult. Yeah. Yeah. So that's not very good. Yeah. We know to understand why it is not good, we need to go back to the origin of the JSP, why the Sun Java team created JSP technology. Okay, yeah. One big reason, handle the static content well. Okay, yeah. For the static content, it is very efficient. So that's one big reason. Now, if you put a large block of Java code, so that's for the dynamic part, data processing. So then you will ruin your original design goal. Okay? So that's the reason. This is not a good situation. So this situation you want to avoid it. Not good. Yeah. Later, I will explain how do we avoid this situation. We can. Yeah. We can avoid it. Yeah. All right. Next. Now let's compare. Under what situation we should use JSP? Under what situation we should use servlets? Yeah. Here, I just show you the simple cases. For data processing, so as I mentioned, Java code is good for data processing. Okay, so for data processing, an advantage goes to servlets. If you have a lot of data processing work, it's better, so you should use your servlets to do that kind of data processing. Okay. Later, we will also know there is another way we can do a lot of data processing. Java Beans. Java Bean technology. Java Beans. Okay? Java Bean technology. If we use Java Beans, we can also do a lot of data processing. Yeah. All right. Servlets more friendly for large amount of Java code. Yeah, how to avoid? So one way, we use servlets we can put a large amount of Java code because they're Java files. Okay, so you can put a lot of Java code there. So no problem. It will not impact any static content of your HTML files. Okay, so you can do very complicated data processing in servlets. Yeah. Another possible place to do it in Java Bean. In Java Bean, you can also do that. Yeah, right? You can also do that in Java Bean. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Another task, if you want to do data presentation, This time, the advantage goes to JSP. Yeah. When you want to present your data, in a nice format, JSP is the best, because JSP is designed to handle the HTML static content well. So you use that property. Yeah. All right. So JSP more friendly for large amount of HTML content. Yeah. And for this kind of content, not friendly for servlets. For servlets, not friendly. Okay? Not friendly for HTML content. Yeah. So we want to avoid using servlets to generate HTML content. Oh, yeah. All right. So JSP, when maintaining two environments, yeah. So here, something you should handle carefully. Two environment case. Yeah. Try to minimize the Java environment. Okay. Try to minimize Java environment. Yeah. Later, we will learn several ways to minimize Java environment. Okay, yeah. Java Bean is one way. Yeah. There is another way. Yeah. Very special way in JSP. So we will learn later. Yeah. All right, so that's the first part, D.1.